Welcome everyone, the class of statistics. In this video lecture, we will learn what is pair t-test and how it will be applied for testing the hypothesis about the difference between two population means. In last lecture, I have told you about hypothesis testing of difference of population means using t-test with the condition that samples are independent of each other. But here in pair t-test, samples are not independent of each other. So this type of test is called paired t-test. Means samples are related to each other. We are dealing with two populations here and samples are drawn from both populations and those samples are not independent of each other. Now the question is कि किस कंडीशन में हम ये कहेंगे कि दोनों सैंपल्स इंडिपेंडेंट नहीं हैं. What is the condition when we say that two samples are dependent of each other? So the situation is that when sometimes some same person or object is measured before and after the treatment. जैसे आपने जो ड्रग्स के लिए हम एक्सपेरिमेंट्स करते हैं ड्रग्स को चेक करने के लिए, तो हम सेम सेट ऑफ डेटा लेते हैं या सेम सेट ऑफ पर्सन्स लेते हैं और उन पर्सन्स को वो ड्रग्स देते हैं और उन पर्सन्स की एक्टिविटी ऑब्जर्व करते हैं बिफोर गिविंग देम द ड्रग एंड आफ्टर गिविंग द ड्रग. तो here the sample size or the sample objects are same before and after the treatment. So in this case we say that the two samples are dependent of each other. तो जब हम सेम सैंपल सेम ऑब्जेक्ट्स पर हम दो बार एक्सपेरिमेंट करते हैं या हम सेम ऑब्जेक्ट्स को ऑब्जर्व करते हैं बिफोर एंड आफ्टर द एक्सपेरिमेंट, in that situation sample size remains same but the samples are said to be dependent of each other because same object is treated in both samples. तो ये कंडीशन है जब हम ये कहेंगे कि दोनों सैंपल्स डिपेंडेंट हैं. तो जो जो कंडीशंस हैं जो आपको पेयर टी टेस्ट लगाने से पहले चेक करनी है क्वेश्चन में, वो ये चेक करनी है कि पहला samples are not independent of each other and sample size are equal. Sample sizes are equal. तो क्योंकि हम सेम सेट ऑफ डेटा कंसीडर कर रहे हैं तो दोनों सिचुएशन में बिफोर एंड आफ्टर द ट्रीटमेंट आप वही सेट ऑफ ऑब्जेक्ट्स यूज कर रहे हो, तो ऑब्वियसली सैंपल साइज विल बी रिमेन सेम. तो एक आइडिया आप लगा सकते हो कि अगर सैंपल साइज सेम है और इस तरह से क्वेश्चन में अगर हम कोई ट्रीटमेंट से रिलेटेड क्वेश्चन है या किसी डाइट से रिलेटेड क्वेश्चन है जहाँ पे आप सेम सेट ऑफ ऑब्जेक्ट्स कंसीडर कर रहे हो, तो उस केस में हम पेयर टी टेस्ट लगाते हैं. हम ये टेस्ट इसलिए यूज करते हैं क्योंकि हम ये चेक करना चाहते हैं कि जो हमने ट्रीटमेंट दिया उसका क्या इफेक्ट हुआ. जैसे मान लीजिए यू वांट टू टेस्ट द ड्रग रिलेटेड टू बीपी की ड्रग आपको टेस्ट करनी है कि कितनी इफेक्टिव है बीपी को कंट्रोल करने में. तो आपने ऐसे सेट ऑफ पर्सन्स लिए, उनका बीपी आपने नोट किया, कुछ का बीपी मान लीजिए बढ़ा हुआ था, वो आपने बढ़ा हुआ बीपी नोट कर लिया. फिर आपने उन पर्सन को वो ड्रग दी और फिर आपने ड्रग देने के बाद उनका बीपी नोट किया. तो उनके बीपी में रिडक्शन हुआ या बीपी सेम रहा या बीपी इंक्रीज हो गया. सो दैट वी वांट टू सी कि अगर रिडक्शन हुआ है reduction, obviously we want the reduction in the BP. So we say that we want to test that the difference between the values of BP before and after giving the drug is positive, right? Or if it is zero, then means there is no effect of drug on those persons, the drug is not effective. Or if the difference is coming out to be negative, that means the BP has been increased. So we want to test whether the drug is effective or not. So basically we consider the differences before and after the treatment, differences in the values of samples. तो इसलिए हम इसमें पेयर टी टेस्ट यूज करते हैं. So let us start the procedure of hypothesis testing. Procedure of hypothesis testing. So number one step in the procedure is state null hypothesis. State null hypothesis. It is denoted by H naught, and null hypothesis is about the difference, capital D. What is capital D here is mean population difference, means the जो sample जो actual population है before and after treatment, that for those population the difference between their average value is zero. Okay, there is no effect of any treatment on that population. Second is state alternative hypothesis. So here always the alternative hypothesis is of the type D not equal to 0. Usually it may be D greater than 0 or D less than 0 also. Then we set level of significance. Alpha. Fourth step is compute test statistics. That is very important to know. Test statistics. That is given by T is equal to D bar minus capital D over S upon root N, where D bar is mean sample difference, mean samples में जो difference है उनका mean, and D is sample difference in pairs. Sample difference in pairs. SD is S, or S square is the variance of those differences. N is number of pairs. Okay. And D bar आप कैसे calculate करेंगे? D bar is जो एवरेज होता है डिफरेंस का, जो एवरेज का फॉर्मूला है वही लगाना है आपको यहाँ पर, 1/n summation di. I varies from 1 to n. Okay. Then next step is find critical value using alpha level of significance and n-1 degree of freedom. क्योंकि आप यहाँ पर t टेस्ट लगा रहे हो तो we need here degree of freedom to check the value from the table. Also we draw critical and acceptance region here. And mark critical value. Sixth step is compare the value of test statistics with that of critical value. And take appropriate decision. Whether null hypothesis is to be rejected or accepted. Okay. So we quickly take one example to understand the whole concept. Below are given the gain in weights in kgs of pigs fed on two diets A and B. Means पिग्स के सेट को, पिग्स के ग्रुप को दो तरह की डाइट दी गई हैं और उनके वेट में जो गेन हुआ है वो डाइट ए और डाइट बी के लिए हमें गिवन है. तो डाइट ए से जो वेट मिला है हमें पिग्स का वो मिला है 25, 32, 30, 34, 24, 14, 32, 24, 30, 31, 35, 25. Next is diet B, where the weights are 44, 34, 22, 10, 47, 31, 40, 30, 32, 35, 18, 21, 35, 29, 22. So I think here the sample size is not equal. So this is the case of this is not the case of pair t-test, but here you can apply simple t-test and मैं क्वेश्चन कंप्लीट कर देती हूँ. ये क्वेश्चन आप टी टेस्ट लगा के कर सकते हैं. सो टेस्ट if the two diets differ significantly as regards their effect on increase in weight. सो बेसिकली हमें ये टेस्ट करना है कि दोनों तरह की डाइट सिग्निफिकेंटली डिफरेंट है. सिग्निफिकेंटली डिफरेंट है मींस जो एवरेज है, एवरेज वेट है डाइट ए से और डाइट बी से, वो दोनों एवरेज वेट दोनों सिग्निफिकेंटली डिफरेंट है. काफी डिफरेंस है दोनों में, दोनों तरह की डाइट काफी डिफरेंट है. तो इसमें आप टी टेस्ट लगाइएगा. टू टी टेस्ट फॉर चेकिंग द डिफरेंस बिटवीन टू पॉपुलेशन मीन्स, जो हमने लास्ट लेक्चर में किया है. सो लेट्स टेक सेकेंड एग्जाम्पल. Second example is in a certain experiment to compare two types of animal foods A and B, the following results were obtained. Food A, food B. 49, 52, 53, 55, 51, 52, 52, 53, 47, 50, 50, 54, 52, 54, 53, 53. Assuming that same set of 8 animals were used in both foods, can we conclude that food B is better than food A? So here same set of animals are used and they are given two types of food and their weights are noted, and we have to, from observation we can see that the weights obtained from food B is greater than weight obtained from food A. So can we safely say that food B is better than food A? So we have to test this. So we apply here pair t-test, and here we set null hypothesis first of all, that we set here that the difference where D is the difference in mean obtained from food A, the mean weight obtained from food A is equal to uh, the mean weight obtained from food B, and that is 0. The difference is 0. There is no difference. So here you can mention that mu A is the mean weight of the population of animals which are fed food A, and this is the mean weight of the animals which are fed food B, and there is no difference in their weights. Then we set alternative hypothesis that because we have to check that food B is better than food A, means uh, the value of D is less than 0, means basically we here write D is because if mu B is greater than mu A, so the value of D will comes out to be less than 0. Then we set level of significance alpha. So alpha we set as 5%, and we compute T is D bar minus D upon S upon root N. Because D is 0, so this is simply D bar upon S by root N. So we first of all calculate the value of S square and the value of D bar. So to calculate D bar, we write here X as XA. So we write here 49, 53, 51, 52, 47, 50, 52, 53, XB, or you can say YB, 52, 55, 52, 53, 50, 54, 54, 53. Then we find the difference in their sample values, that is D It is xa minus yb. So that is minus 3, minus 2, minus 1, minus 1, minus 3, minus 4, minus 2 and 0. And the value of d square is 9, 4, 1, 1, 9, 16, 4, 0. So the value of d bar is the average of d summation d over n, that is minus 16. इसको ऐड करोगे आप तो ये 16 आएगा. Minus 16 divided by n here is 8. So this is minus 2. And s square is 1 upon n minus 1 summation di minus d bar whole square. So we write it in another form, which is summation d square minus summation d whole square divided by n, because our calculation is in these two terms. So this is 1 upon 7, 44 minus 256 divided by 8. So this comes out to be 1.714. So we have completed first step, second, third, fourth. So we calculate now the value of t. So t is d bar s upon root n. So we calculate mod t because d bar is negative. So this is 2 upon 1.714. Because we have calculated the value of s square, so we keep it in a square root. And this is n here. So we put 8 here. This is 4.32. So this is our fourth step completed. Fifth step is t, value of t, because d is less than 0. So this is left tail test. So left tail area is 5%. And here t is 0. This is 5%. And degree of freedom is 7. So the value of t is minus I think 1.9. We mark critical and acceptance region. This is critical region. And this area is 95%. This is acceptance region. So value of mod t is 4.32. And that is here, coming here in the acceptance region. So we write here, since 4.32 is greater than 1.9, this implies null hypothesis is accepted. Here should write with negative sign. That means mm, so we can say that there is no difference in both type of foods. Okay. Uh, I'm sorry, there is one mistake here. Because we have calculated mod t here, the value of t will comes out to be, because this is negative, our answer is minus 4.32. So minus 4.32 will comes in the critical region. So we let me correct my statement. Minus 4.32 is less than minus 1.9. So null hypothesis is rejected. That minus 4.32 will comes here in the critical region. Null hypothesis rejected means food B is superior to food A. Okay. So we compare the actual values. We compare the value of T with actual value of T with critical value. That gives you the correct answer. Okay. Thank you very much. And if you have understood my lecture, please like and share it and subscribe my channel also. Thank you very much.